who's going to be your next mayor. One thing is sure, the election is coming up really quickly, November 2nd. Advanced polls open on October 26th. You've got until October 15th to make sure you're registered to vote. Make sure you do it. You've got to vote. You've got to make sure your voice gets heard. Elections.montreal.ca is where you can do that. So here on Les Montréalistes, we've been making sure that we get to the bottom of what really matters to you, the issues that you want to make sure are addressed. Now we're going to have a chance to speak to one of the mayoral candidates. Let's meet her now. We are joined by Soraya Martinez Ferrada, who is leader of Ensemble Montréal and running to be the next mayor of Montreal. Welcome to Les Montréalistes.
I'm very happy to be here.
So happy to have you. Thank you for your time today. And I think out of the gate, the first thing I want to ask you, Soraya, is you're not new to politics, but you're a new face for many Montrealers. What's the first thing you want them to know about who you are as a person? We'll get to the mayor part in a bit, but first and foremost, who is Soraya?
Well, I think, Soraya, I'm an immigrant, like many, many people in Montreal. And Montreal is a city that welcomed me and my family, where I grew up, where my kids grew up. And more than being, candidate for mayor, I'm a Montrealer and at heart and soul. And this is my city.
And what would you say is a quality that people should know that you possess as a person, like your personality a little bit?
I would say I'm a fighter. I would say I fight for things. I fight for people. I fight for causes. And I do this because I think at the end of the day, I represent people. I represent a neighborhood. And in this case, I want to represent Montrealers. And I feel that they should know that I'm going to fight for them.
And so that kind of leads naturally to what would make you a good mayor. I mean, I think out of the gate, fighting for your people. What are some of the other qualities that you possess that you think would make you a good mayor of Montreal? And why do you want to be our mayor?
I listen a lot. I feel that this city has lost the way that we, talk to our citizens and we listen to them. I feel that if we can listen more, and then when you act at the end of the day, you're acting on the things that you've heard. And that's what I think we're missing in this city, talking to each other and listening to each other and making decisions that are based on what you've heard. And that's what I want to give to Montrealers.
So we started this podcast back in May, and the goal of Les Montréalistes is to really just get out there and talk to Montrealers, get a kind of feel for what's irking them, what matters to them, and also kind of compel people to vote. We'll talk more about that a little bit later, because that's a big problem, voter turnout. But I can give you a laundry list of things that people can complain about, right, when it comes to the issues in Montreal. What do you think matters most to Montrealers, and what do you think they're most bothered by right now about the city?
I think a sense of chaos, like a chaos on garbage removal, chaos on the planning of our construction sites in Montreal, the chaos on the fact that if we're having the snow removal, it's not being done well. I think a sense of chaos, but at the same time, I feel that people understand that we live in a city where there's neighborhoods and there's local identities that are very important. And I feel that Montreal went silent. Because I was Minister of Tourism and Minister of Economic Development. I went all across Canada and all these cities. And every time I would come back home, I felt like Montreal was silent. And other cities were just popping up the volume and making, people know about their city. And I feel like Montreal, that's what we're missing. So, and we've been talking a lot about, orange cones and the fact that the city is not clean. And I feel that cannot be who we are. So I feel that, the city needs and deserves better and can do so much better.
So I was saying that Montrealers are frustrated, and that's certainly the impression that we got being out talking to people. But there's also sort of a bit of apathy that's set in. So where people feel like it's pointless, like it's just so far gone, it's pointless. Where do you start, Soraya? Where do you start to begin to fix all the problems? We'll attack some of the specific ones, but in the grand scheme,
so this is what I've been saying since I launched the idea of me running, is I want to give the capacity to Montreal to have ambition again, to be able to dream again. But to do that, citizens needs to know that you're taking and tackling the basic service of a city. If you can't pick up the garbage, how can you dream big, right? So, I mean, you have to be able to do the simple things in order to sell the big things. And that's what I feel that we need to do right now. Saying to Montrealers, I'm going to take care of the garbage. I'm going to take care of what you see on the street not working. But I want you to remember that we're a big metropolis. And the biggest in Quebec, the second largest in Canada. We're the second biggest university and research hub in North America after Boston. We need to remember who we are in the international scene, but also remembering that we live in neighborhoods and we have a quality of life that's why we like to live in Montreal, right? So I feel that we need to do both right. We need to do both rights. Service to the citizens and also having the ambition to be a big city.
I was thinking about how it really does boil down to quality of life. And you just said that, right? Like you need to make sure that you can get to where you need to go, that the traffic isn't impeding. You need to make sure you don't hit a pothole on the way there. You need to make sure your garbage is getting picked up, that there aren't rats around. But the logistics of actually running a city are complicated. So let's seize upon a few of the things and that specifically are bothering people. You talked about the cleanliness of the city. And I know you quoted William Shatner saying he's never seen.
He's never seen the city. I correct, because I went back to see the post that he did, and he was actually talking about construction sites and orange cones and the chaos of not knowing where to go to find his path. But also the fact that, the city seemed a bit chaotic, which I've never seen the city like that before.
And we want to feel proud, right?
Of course.
I mean, not just for William Shatner.
No.
We want to feel proud ourselves of our city, not just for celebrities when they come to visit.
No, absolutely not. But I think it's the way that we project ourselves. You wouldn't invite guests to your home and your home being dirty. I mean, you want to make sure that it's clean, it's well, placed, and you want to feel proud of showing who you are. Well, the same thing we do as a city. So we need to make sure that our city is well taken care of.
So let's talk about garbage then, because I was going to start with traffic, but I feel like garbage is the place that so many people get so riled up about. I mean, people get riled up about a lot of different things, but the garbage pickup going to less frequent, right?
Yes.
So every 2 weeks, and particularly in Hochelaga Maisonneuve, there's issues with vermin. Both you and Luc Rabouin seem to have taken the same approach on this. So why would that kind of make people believe that you're going to get the job done if you're taking the same stance?
So the difference between me and Luc Rabouin on that issue is that he reacted to a situation a couple of weeks before the campaign. But citizens have been asking for this for 2 years.
We're talking about pickup every week.
Pickup every week. Projet Montréal is managing that borough. And they've been listening and seeing what's happening in the street, and they did not act on it. Now they're acting on it on campaign mode. It doesn't give you a lot of confidence around what are you going to do for 4 years? I mean, you've been there for 8 years now. This is who you are as an administration. It doesn't give me a lot of confidence that you will be somebody that will actually listen, because citizens were screaming for 2 years and you didn't listen to them then. So I feel that right away, I mean, honestly, I was a member of parliament for Hochelaga. Every time I would come back home as an MP, people were talking to me about garbage. And I'm like, well, this is not federal politics. This is municipal politics. And I feel that if you couldn't listen to citizens when they were screaming their heads off because it was dirty and a health issue, it doesn't give me a lot of confidence in who you are as an administration.
It's making me think of the slogan is agir, écouter et agir.
Yes, that's
so
who we are.
listen and react.
And that's who I am. I listen and then I act. I'm not saying I'm going to take a lot of time, but I'm saying I am going to listen to you. I am going to talk to you. I'm going to make sure that what I'm doing as a public policy responds to the need. And if I want to change something, I have to make sure that I'm bringing everybody along with me, not going around in the road that I'm alone.
Okay, but here's the thing. We've heard this before, right? We've heard it from Valérie Plante. We've heard people say, we're going to listen to you, we're going to consult you, we're going to take into account what matters to you and what you want to have happen. And then it doesn't happen. They don't listen. They don't do what we've said we want to have happen in our neighborhoods. So why should we have faith that you'll be any different, Soraya?
I think there's a time of building the trust, and I get that. I think the trust has been broken, and a lot of citizens feel cynic about politics. If you take, for instance, Camille Hood, there was a big consultation not closing down Camille Hood. This administration didn't listen to it. So I think democracy right now in our institutions is fragile because citizens, if they don't feel that you're actually doing, acting on the consultations that we have made, well, they can't have confidence in your public elected officials. So what I'm saying to you is, I want to be sure that we're listening to those democratic institutions that are in Montreal. And for instance, I said that I would, act on the report from the OCPM for Camille Hood. I said that I was going to bring back the garbage every week. So I said that I see the roads not being planned and people not being informed of what's coming, and that's what I want to do. So to your question is, well, the only thing I can ask citizens, either we stay the same and we have a city that is not well taken care of, or we take a chance and we go with a change. And I'm telling them I want to build that trust, and I know that your trust has been broken, and I have to give the space and the time for them to trust me as a mayor.
Okay, that's a good answer. I want to talk about Terrebonne and the bike path, because that's another situation where the citizens were consulted and said, no, we don't want this. And it was done anyway. And then it was taken away, and then it came back. I mean, it's been a total and complete fiasco there. You have said that you would call for an audit of all bike paths. And as a resident of NDG, I can tell you that some people are like, well, no, that doesn't go far enough. We don't want an audit to tell us what we already know. So what do you want to say to people about bike paths in a more general sense, but also the idea of auditing them and what might come of that?
I think we have to go back even a level higher of that. How do we share the public space between pedestrians, between cars, between bicycle paths, between the fact that a merchant needs to have his groceries delivered to him, a funeral home in Toronto that needs to have a funeral space for vehicles to come. So I feel that we have to go back to how do we share the space? And in order to do that, we do have to have an audit on all those spaces to make sure that we're giving what people need. I know what people are frustrated when we talk about bicycle path, and I think we have to stop that polarization right now between cars and bikes. And we have to go back to how do we share the space in a secure, fluid way, and looking at what the best ways are. When we talk to people, when I talk to Montrealers, even Montrealers tell me, I'm not against bicycle path. I just want to get to my home. I just want to have my medication delivered. So they just want to be heard and listen and see how can we do that bicycle path, but at the same time respond to my needs.
It's got to respond to everyone's needs.
Exactly.
You can't prioritize one section of society.
So I hear them. I hear Montrealers, but I'm not here to tell them I'm going to take everything away and no, I'm saying let's look at them. Let's see where the problems, where are the security ones that we have to secure, and where are the ones eventually we're going to have to do. Because at the end of the day, we want to have a good route of bicycle paths because we want cyclists to be safe. So we have to, be respectful to each other.
So, I mean, that leads me to think about the traffic situation in general and construction and the state of the roads. Again, I think this is a situation where it's just, we kind of throw our hands up in the air. It's so bad, it kind of seems hopeless. So how do you give people hope that it can be fixed? Can it be fixed, Soraya?
Well, I was actually yesterday at this big event called All In, which is the artificial intelligence kind of congress. It's one of the biggest ones in the world that's actually in Montreal right now. And I was there visiting to a couple of startups that we have. A lot of them are from Montreal, and they have these great ideas around how can we better plan. And I think if I'm mayor, I'm also mayor of Ville-Marie Borough, which is downtown core. And I've said it earlier, maybe 3 weeks ago. I want to use artificial intelligence to work on the fluidity of the lights. Traffic lights, working on where do we start in terms of construction sites? Because you have to know what the risk is not doing it and which one you do first. Because remember the big water pipe that broke?
The water main burst, yeah.
So we have to make sure that we're doing the ones that are very urgent. but not all of them at the same time, because then you block the whole downtown. So we have to be better at planning and saying to citizens, we're going to be in your road, in your street in 2 years, and this is what's going to happen. So that planning is not being well done, and I think artificial intelligence, it's a way to very use it within our municipal planification, a better way to do it. And I think, we have all these companies, and the city of Montreal we're the hub of artificial intelligence in the world. We have to show the way. We have to be leaders in the way that we can use that to our own benefit for the citizens.
I have to say, again, though, I'm having a little bit of flashbacks of Luc Rabouin saying similar things. So just to be clear, Luc Rabouin running against you to be mayor he's with Projet Montréal. And I think just the other day on social media, he posted something very similar. Are you finding that they're picking up on a lot of the ideas that you're putting forth, or were these their ideas that maybe you're picking up on?
Well, I'm doing my campaign.
Okay.
I present my proposal, my platform, and it's not my fault. They're actually following up on our steps. But I've talked about artificial intelligence for a long time now. I was Minister of Economic Development. I push to send money to small businesses to help them introduce artificial intelligence. So this is something that I've been doing for many years now, and I don't think the city has done enough, and they can do so. We're lacking ambition. We're lacking ambition. In this administration, they've tried. The intentions are there sometimes, but they lack ambition and they lack execution. And that's what I'm very, very against Luc Rabouin saying, well, yeah, we're going to use that. Well, you gave a contract to Mila and you didn't act on it. It's been dead for 2 years. So now saying that you want to do it, well, you had your chance. You just you weren't able to do it.
I kind of like this idea that you're like, whatever, like let them do what they're doing. I've got my campaign. I've got to focus on what I'm doing. They can do their own thing.
Think I'm not running against Projet Montréal. I'm running for citizens of Montreal that are tired, exhausted, and just want to have a city that actually works. And that's what I'm running for. I'm running for the citizens, saying to them, I have a plan, and this is a plan that I'm giving to you. Housing will be a priority. Homelessness will be a priority. Security, cleanness, making sure we have a mobility that's safe and fluid, and making sure that the city is managed in an efficient way, agile. We have too much bureaucracy. We have to be quick on our feet, because honestly, other cities right now in Canada are doing. It's not normal for Montreal to be behind Calgary in competing with Longueuil and Laval. We're the biggest city in Quebec. We have to remember who we are.
We need to do better.
Oh my God, yes. We can do actually so much better.
So when I think about spending, and you said too much bureaucracy, I'm thinking about what's been going on with the ASIM. So that's the Association de Scientists and Engineers of Montreal, and contracts being given out privately rather than to where they're supposed to go. And basically it comes down to overspending or misspending, perhaps. What would you do to better that situation?
It's knowing if we can do it in-house with the people we have in our own city as workers. Can we do the job? If we can't do the job, who can do it at a better cost? It's always to look at, but for me, always is in-house. Can we better manage our own things with our own people? And I think we haven't done that enough. And I think
that makes way too much sense, Soraya.
Probably, I don't know. But we have a lot of people in the city of Montreal. And this administration has hired many, many professionals, but not a lot of blue workers. And we have to make sure that we're going back to the basic service of a city and making sure that the work that we need to be doing, can we do it in-house? Okay,
but Luc Rabouin is saying that there's basically going to be a hiring freeze, right? That's my understanding, is that he's going to cut back on the civil service.
I'm cutting back on the services. Okay. He wants to stay the same.
Okay.
Status quo. He doesn't want to hire more people. He doesn't want to. The same number of people he's going to keep.
Okay.
I'm saying under Projet Montréal, we went from 25,000 people to 28,000 people. What I'm saying is that we need to cut back on those. I'm not cutting people. I'm cutting functions in the city. If people are going to retirement, or I'm not going to replace them. We have to bring back down the people we have, because we have an issue on financial structure in the city. I mean, in the 2, 3, 4 years to come, we're going to be $500 million in deficit. We need to, it's going to be hard decisions to make, and we have to make sure that we're making the right ones. And right now, there's no way for us to do anything bigger than taking care of citizens sleeping in the streets.
Okay, so that was, you went exactly where I wanted to go, which was homelessness. I
Yes.
mean, there's no question this is an issue that's been around forever. It definitely does seem to have gotten worse. And I feel like there's again, when I talk about hopelessness, I feel like people have kind of given up. The problem just seems too big to solve. Can it be solved? What do we do about encampments? Where do you stand on that, Soraya?
So I've announced many things in the past 2-3 days. One is have a protocol on encampments. That doesn't mean that we're going to dismantle them right now. We don't want to have encampments. Nobody wants to sleep in a tent. But if I dismantle them, where are they going to go? We have to work on the transition. We have to work on what's the other option in sleeping in a tent. Right now, that option, we're lacking of that option, which is transition housing with the social net that you need to support the person in need. Because the person in need right now is either is a drug addict, mental health, there's so many issues to a person that's on the street right now that it's not one size fits all. So we need to have a very different approaches to a very complex problem. And right now, a lot of people won't know what to do, but Montreal has a lack of leadership. A leadership of, this is my home, this is my town, and I'm going to lead the way in terms of coordinating the action that we need to take to tackle the issue of homelessness.
Because I'm just thinking, we've been 8 years with this administration. I think, of course, when you come in, you've got more energy, you've got more ideas, you think, I can definitely do better. What, from your federal experience, so you were an MP in Ottawa, what do you think serves you well in terms of tackling some of these bigger issues? I mean, bigger issues, they're all big.
It's going back to leadership. If I'm the mayor of Montreal, I will never say this is the responsibility of Quebec or this is responsibility of federal. No, this is my responsibility. This is my town. This is people that are sleeping in the street of my town. So what can I do, and who I'm going to sit around the table to find solutions to this issue? And I think this administration has waited too long every year around what Quebec's going to give me as money, what Quebec's going to do.
So kind of no passing the buck.
No, I'm keeping the issue. I know this is my issue. This is my problem. I need help. Yes, Quebec can help. Federal can help. The private sector can help. I launched yesterday a matching fund, $10 million. I'm going to put $10 million on the table, asking the private sector to match that fund so we can be partners in tackling an issue that is actually something that has, a lack of attractivity for downtown. So the private sector wants to help. So we have to give them kind of an option where they can help. And I think that's what one we did yesterday, announcing a matching fund.
Okay. It all sounds very promising. There's an awful lot to tackle, like I was saying at the beginning. Where do we even begin? Of all the things that we've started to talk about, all the different issues, what's the one that is nearest and dearest to your heart? What's the thing that you think has to be top priority?
Homelessness.
Okay.
There's no way we're going to convince anybody that we can do big things if we have people sleeping in tents in Notre Dame Street, in parks of our city, in front of homes in our neighborhoods. And to your point, and you said it earlier, it's not decreasing. It's actually increasing. So we have to make sure that we're working on prevention, working on the urgent needs of these Montrealers sleeping in tents, and making sure that we have transition. It has to be our top one priority, because if we don't do that, we cannot be the city of the biggest city in Quebec, one of the G7 country.
So I think the election's coming up fast and furious, right? Like I don't need to tell you, you're in campaign mode. November 2nd is going to arrive just like that. One of the biggest problems we've had over the years is voter apathy and low voter turnout. How do we get people engaged? How do we get them out to vote on November 2nd? And how do we get young people out to vote?
So there's one good project this year that the Election Montreal is doing. Students will be able to vote in their own establishment, like university and cégep, which is, I think, a very good thing. It's going to help a lot to get them to participate. But I think we have to talk about municipal politics all the year round. Like every year, every day, we have to find a way to get people to understand that municipal politics, it's important. It's important because cities like Montreal today contribute to the bigger picture of a province, of a country, and a city like Montreal is the heart and soul of the economic, culture, and society fabric of Quebec. So we need to get people to know why it's so important to get involved in that level of politics. And if I'm mayor, that will be also a thing to make sure that we're looking into, because at the end of the day, if people don't participate, they're not involved, and it will be always the same people that we're hearing, but not everyone.
Yes, not everyone is represented.
Exactly.
Yeah, this idea that people are disengaged on a municipal level, it is what impacts our day-to-day life, and quality of life, as you said, is really what matters most. Any parting words, anything you'd like to say that we didn't touch upon today?
No, just remember that we're an island. That we're islanders. I mean, the water, of our island, that we should be working together in a more collaborative way, not only as a mayor of Montreal, but also working with the other cities around the island. We need to make sure that we don't lose our political power as this big island of who we are as a Montrealer, and that's what I want to offer.
Let's be proud to be Montrealers again.
Absolutely.
I wish you an excellent rest of your campaign. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you.